Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Sunday to you all. Welcome to Dre Broadcasting Network, as we're pleased to bring to you live action from Daytona International Speedway with the Precision Racing League. This is the Down Under 225, courtesy of the 092 of Dean Stone, who is one of the drivers in this series. Tonight is race 2 of the United Armed Services Oval Series, also sponsored by Dean Stone. I am your commentator, Sean Zulu, and I am joined by my good friend and cameraman, Dave Evel. How you doing tonight, buddy? Looks like Dave is trying to fix his communications there, but he's going to have it in a little bit. By looking back at last week, we did have the Brake Mod 135, sponsored by the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne, who as well is one of the drivers in the series. And top 5, we did have the 18 of Travis Browder bringing it home, the 24 of Corey Blevins right behind him in second place, the 1 of James O'Brien in third place, who is a champion, or the champion of last season. And the 7 of Dallas Pataska, a new driver, finished in 4th place. And in 5th place, we had the 11 of Brandon Massey running at the top 5. And once again, tonight is the Down Under 225. The Down Under 225, sorry, sponsored by the 092 of Dean Stone. And currently looks like we are in qualifying mode. So these guys are putting down some lap times. But I'm going to go over the track details. So far we do have a 71 degree Fahrenheit track temp. The air temp is 71 degrees Fahrenheit as well. It is mostly cloudy out there. The winds from the north at 4 miles an hour. And these guys do have a 60% fuel limit. That is 60%, so they do have to pit at least once in order to be able to make it. And by the looks of it, we do have Dave back here. I got a copy there, Dave?
Yeah, I do, Sean. Thank you for sticking put. Glad to be here. Glad to be at Daytona. Glad to be bringing the Precision Racing League onto the Dre Broadcasting Network tonight.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. We're in for an amazing race tonight. This is Daytona for 90 laps. That is 90 laps. A lot of time to get the job done. A lot of things can go from good to bad, from bad to good, depending on what situation these drivers are in. And Dave, give us the live chat of, or the live, the little live tab of the weather or the track details, please.
Well, Sean, tonight we have an air temperature right just a little over 66 degrees with a track temperature of the same temperature, 66 degrees. It is mostly cloudy tonight with a humidity of 60%. As you said, we are at Daytona here, so as we are looking, this is a 2.5 mile track with four pretty good turns here, so we are going to see some speeds in excess of 190 mile an hour plus tonight.
Oh, absolutely, Dave, and this is Daytona. Last week we came from Charlotte Motor Speedway, so these two tracks differ a lot. That is a short track, and this is a long track. It's a super speedway. Draft is very key, while at Charlotte, draft is really pretty much, I mean, it makes a difference, but not too much of a difference. So tonight, Dave, we should expect to see a lot of team action because we do have a lot of different teams out there.
Oh, most definitely. Here, as we're looking, another key part here is, as you said, teamwork is definitely key here at Daytona, as these drivers will be doing 190 plus. I mean, not only do they got to watch the car on top of them, as we're going to see some three-wide racing tonight, these guys also got to keep an eye out for their water temperature and oil temperature as they are working in the draft. That temperature is going to rise, so they have to watch their temperature because these motors can blow and put a quick end to their night.
Oh, that's absolutely right. And Dave, I'm glad you mentioned that. And if it does come down to blowing up, these guys do not have any backup cars, which means if they have bad enough damage to end their night, it will definitely end their night in a heartbeat. And currently, Dave, we do have these guys under qualifying. We have about 55 seconds remaining until qualifying is over. And currently on the pole is the 24 of Corey Blevins, the driver who finished in second place last week. And the 87 of Justin Michael right behind him in second place. Justin Michael from Team No Lift, he had a bad night last week, ended up tagging that wall and caused a chain reaction, but he is back tonight. And the 14 of Poddy Johnson is in third place from Big D's Racing. 911 of John Laboff in fourth place. And the 27 of Danny Duchesne currently in fifth place as we speak. And by the looks of it, Dave, we only have 18 drivers, actually now 20 drivers who've put in a lap time so far.
Yeah, most definitely, Sean. But looking through the field here, we've got a pretty good field here tonight. So it looks like we're going to see some good racing here as we've got, I do think, right about 33, 34 total drivers here tonight. So it'll be interesting to see how many we actually have take the green flag here at the start of the race, as it looks like now qualifying has come to an end.
We are going to give these guys a few seconds to grid up before we start going down that list or the gridding order, so you guys can know where each driver is starting. Just like we had mentioned on the poll, we do have the 24 of Corey Blevins, the 87 of Justin Michael, going to be starting on his right side, leading the outside line. We do have the 14 of Poddy Johnson starting in second place on the bottom lane. In third place, the 911 of John Laboff in fourth place. Second place on the outside behind the 87 of Justin Michael and the 27 of Danny Duchesne, rounding up the top five.
The 60 of Colton Lane will be starting in your sixth position. Starting seventh is going to be the 95 of Jeffrey Ford. The 4 of Sammy Holmes will take the ace starting position tonight. We have the 55 of Karsten Quint starting ninth. And in our 10th position, we have the 45 of Eddie Hawks.
The 3 of Dale Robertson starting in 11th place. The 11 of Brandon Massey starting in 12th place. The 22 of Jack Price in 13th place. The 21 of Trevor White in 14th. And the 59 of David White in 15th place.
The 1 of James O'Brien, last season's champion, will be starting in 16th position tonight. Starting 17th, last week's winner at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the 18 of Travis Browder. Starting 18th, the 28 of Eric Roberts. Starting 19th, the 44 of Randy Caldwell. And rounding out your top 20 will be the 78 of Ronald McManus.
And being the first car not qualifying, the 51 of Dustin Lee, a new driver. The 6 of Steven Mattock starting in 22nd place. The 16 of Curtis Aho in 23rd place. The 66 of Charles Paradis starting in 24th place. And the 8 of Steven Aguiar in 25th.
Starting 26th position will be the 5 of Jason Ashby. Starting in 26th position is the 5 of Jason Ashby. Starting 27th, the 6x4 of Josh Conker. Starting in 28th will be the 40 of Aaron Groskopf. Starting 29th, the 63 of Ryan Pendicio. Starting in 30th will be the 9 of Austin Moore. Starting in 31st will be the 54 of Lance Marsh. The 41 of Chris Perez starting in 32nd. And the 092 of Dean Stone will fill out the field starting in 33rd position.
Going back up front, we do have these guys rolling at 80 miles an hour pace speed, being led by the 24 of Corey Blevins on the first start of tonight's race. It is 90 laps once again, and this is the Down Under 225, sponsored by Dean Stone in the 092 machine tonight. We're going to watch the 24 of Blevins control this start for the first time, this time by with the help of the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. These guys getting bunched up nice and tight to get ready for this restart, to avoid those checkups that cause wrecks on the restarts. The pace car is off. The green flag flies immediately. He puts it down. 24 of Blevins does not get a good start, but the 14 of Johnson does. A son of Johnson Michael on the outside trying to challenge him, but does not have enough speed just yet. Still getting up to speed with the 911 of John Lubbock trying to get up to his back bumper into turn 1. 27 of Danny Duchesne, third place on the bottom lane on the back bumper. The 14 of Paul D. Johnson into turn 1. He backs it down due to that shifting difference.
Yeah, most definitely. It looks usually the first couple of laps it takes a little bit to get that outside line moving, but the 87 of Justin Michael does have the help from the 911 of John LaBeouf, as he is right all over that bumper here. As we looks like we've got two wide here, pretty far deep, as these drivers are now starting here, getting ready to complete lap 1 of 90 here at Daytona International Speedway.
The 24 of Corey Blevins not getting too much help just yet from the 14 of Johnson because they are disconnected. He is losing a lot of speed. That 87 of Justin Michael propels on the outside. It's going to lead this lap on lap number 2. Starting lap number 2, ending lap number 1. We have a new race leader. And that's 60 of Cotton Lane on the outside with a huge run from the 45 of Eddie Hawks. The 911 of Lubbock and the 87 of Justin Michael get clear of the inside and jump down in front of the 24 of Corey Blevins, leaving the outside line to be led by the 60 of Cotton Lane.
Yeah, it looks like that inside line is the place to be right now, Sean, here, but it still is early in the race here, is hopefully we get to see some nice green flag pit stops. We're looking at Justin Michael leading, coming in about 193 mile an hour into the turn, or turn number 3. So these cars are still kind of getting up to speed here. As we see this pack here group up, we are going to see these guys making some good pushes here at the end.
Oh, absolutely, Dave, and I'm glad you mentioned those green flag pit stops. They do separate the men from the boys, so we are going to see a lot of packs breaking up, or I should say a lot of different packs forming, because the field is going to be broken up. And Dave, currently I'm focused on the 24 of Corey Blevins and the 60 of Cotton Lane. These guys did make contact when the 911 of Lubbock and the 87 of Justin Michael were clear, and they both have some damage on the right side and the left side of their cars. And right now the 60 of Cotton Lane is propelling on the outside line, as that 911 of John Lubbock is most likely heating as we speak. And then let's run right on the in car of John Lubbock just so we can watch what it takes to be a good push on the bottom lane like that. You can see right now he's trying his best to go a little bit below the 87 of Justin Michael, so you can see that yellow line, because he's trying to avoid tapping it, because we all know, Dave, that yellow line is not your friend.
Oh, especially here on these turns at Daytona, you touch that right below that yellow line, it's going to send your car out of control and could possibly bring out the big one.
Oh, absolutely right, Dave. And right now, focusing on the 911 of John Lubbock, we can see that on the backstretch, he was peeking his nose to the inside line to get that clean air into that motor to cool it, to avoid overheating. And also that 45 of Eddie Hawks is most likely overheating because by the looks of it, he's backing it down to try and put some air in that motor to avoid blowing it up. Just like we had mentioned, these guys do not have any backup cars. So if they have to play it smart to avoid paying the price later on. And looking further back in the pack, we do have the 28 of Eric Roberts side by side with the 14 of Pody Johnson. 4th place on the outside line behind the 11 of Brandon Massey, just pretty much riding at the moment. And once again, this is a 60% fuel limit. So at this point, Dave, I'm not really sure what the fuel window is.
Yeah, me either, Sean, but I'm sure once we see people start making their way down onto pit road, we are going to see everybody follow. As you said before, these drivers will have to pit with somebody because draft is extremely important here. Pitting by yourself will cause you to definitely fall back to the end of the field in a hurry.
Oh, that's absolutely right, Dave. And right now, speaking of falling back, we do have the 40 of Aaron R. Groskov being shown in 28th place. Dave, he is out of the draft range. He does have some cars coming up to his rear end, and that is the one of James O'Brien and the 092 of Dean Stone. But man, these guys are losing a lot of speed. They're pushing about 188 miles an hour. They're getting around him, actually leaving him out to dry, so he's going to most likely get lapped before those green flag pit stops, Dave.
Well, anything's possible here as we are going to go back up, and we're going to take a look at that 5 of Jason Ashby, who's currently back in 35th place as he is working with the number 8 Esteban Aguiar, that unfortunately we didn't see him last week at Charlotte, but he has came here as he is running in that real nice Budweiser Chevy Camaro there, as he is getting pushed by the 5 of Jason Ashby, trying to get up and get back to this field.
And Dave, this could be a very good strategy to avoid or to try and stay out of trouble at the same time. If this thing goes green, Dave, they're screwed.
Well, their best bet is to try to catch that 3-car pack in front of them and make it a 5-car pack. As we know here at Daytona, it all matters about how many cars you have in that pack. The more cars you have, the faster you go.
Oh, nicely said, Dave. That is their best bet at this point to avoid going a lap down, because that pack up front, speaking of up front, let's go back up front. We are focusing on the 911 of John Lubbock, and right now he's pushing about 198, entering those turns. Then the speed goes down, but it's actually way more speed compared to those guys who are in their own packs. The ones we talked about, like the 40 of Aaron Groskov, 092 of Dean Stone, and the 8 of Steven Aguiar back there, who are pushing about 180 miles an hour, which is way less. And right now these guys are entering turn number 3, while the 8 of Aguiar is on the back straightaway.
Well, Sean, looking there in the bottom line, it looks like the 87 of Justin Michael is going to jump up in front of the 911 of John LaBeouf and take over that position, as he is now challenging the 60 of Colton Lane, trying to get that top position back here, as they are now coming through the dogleg here. But it looks like Colton Lane will lead, but the 87 of Justin Michael will jump back down in front of the 60 of Colton Lane, taking over that lead of the bottom line.
That was a great strategy, Dave. That was pretty much just a switch for the 87 of Justin Michael to get some clean air to avoid blowing that motor, but to maintain speed at the exact same time. And the 911 of John LaBeouf right now is leading the outside line. He makes contact with the 60 of Colton Lane. That was almost ugly. The 45 of Eddie Hawks backs it off to avoid causing any trouble. And that is a great job, great driving by these drivers. In the 24 of Corey Blevins, just minding his own business on that bottom lane, trying to avoid trouble as well.
Well, Sean, as we are going to take a look at our Crank It Up cam here, watching these cars real close as they are flying down the track. Just look at those camera views, folks. These camera guys are working hard tonight trying to get you the best shots they can, as these guys are hammering down here in through turns 1 and 2 and onto the backstretch.
Right now, Dave, I am watching the 911 of John LaBeouf. He was falling short entering those turns, but exiting that turn, the 45 of Eddie Hawks was on his back bumper and gave him a slingshot exiting turn 4, and is now challenging the son of Justin Michael side by side into turn 1. It looks like the son of Justin Michael is still able to lead lap number 11.
Most definitely here. Look at this, Sean. In just the first 10 laps here tonight at Daytona, we have had 4 lead changes already tonight. I can only imagine what that number is going to go up to before the end of this race, as these drivers are all just hammering down here, as it looks like they are just putting down some quick lap times. As the last lap time around, Justin Michael put down a 45.522. Actually, the fastest lap time tonight was actually put down already by the 4 of Sammy Holmes with a 45.128.
That is very impressive, Dave. Those guys who are further back in the pack usually get the draft, but they have nowhere to go due to how narrow this track is compared to other tracks out there. So it's more complicated to go 3 wide at a track like this than it is compared to Talladega, which is the only track we could pretty much compare it to. Also, Dave, looking back at that pack that was back there, the 40 of Aaron Groskov has been picked up. Is now behind the 1 of James O'Brien. But these guys are still way behind that pack.
Yeah, they've got some time. They are either hoping on a caution to kind of draw it in, or this may be even their plan, just to kind of hang back from that lead pack, let the accident happen. That way they have more than enough time to get slowed down and avoid it. These drivers are just kind of doing swaps here, trying to keep these cars cool. But they do have a 5-car pack here, so I'm not sure if they're going to lose any more time, but they definitely got to be careful of it. But they are running pretty good here in the back of the field.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. They are running well, and the good thing is they did bunch it up, just like you had pointed out. You know, it was better for them to bunch it up and make it a 5-car pack than them just being 2 separate groups of 3 versus 2. And Dave, right now I'm focused on pit road, and it looks like we have one driver who had some trouble, and that is the 6 of Steven Mattox, being shown in 33rd place, 6 laps down. And his right side does not seem to be too pretty, or as pretty as it was when the race first begun. He does have some damage on that right side, and he might be getting some damage fixed at this point, Dave, but that's very unfortunate this early on.
Yeah, that's going to start putting him some laps down here, as I'm currently showing him 8 laps already down, so he is down there his pit crew is trying to bang out all that damage here to get back out on the track. As we go back on the track here, taking a look at the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne, who we all know is a great driver here. He's fast, currently running back in 24th, with the 18 of Travis Browder running behind him here towards the end of the lead pack.
And Dave, that is a very good strategy by the 13 of Jacques Francois, and the guy he is pushing the 66 of Charles Paradis. They are in draft range, but they're close enough to have enough. I mean, they are close enough, or I should say far enough away from the pack in order to be able to avoid any trouble. They have enough time to react if anything were to happen. At the same time, they're still in the draft range. If they were trying to catch up to that lead pack, they would do it in a heartbeat. And right now, the closest car to the 66 of Charles Paradis is the 63 of Ryan Pandisio.
Well, they have also got a little 5-car pack here, but the great thing is they're definitely closer here. So they're doing a pretty great job, I definitely got to say.
And going back up front, we have a new leader. The 45 of Eddie Hawks clears the bottom lane, jumps down in front of the 911 of John Leboff, leaving the 11 of Brian Massey to lead the outside line. The 60 of Colton Lane, 3rd place on the outside line with the help of the, looks like that is the 44 of Randy Caldwell. Looking further up front, the 87 of Justin Michael jumps up to the outside to help the 28 of Eric Roberts, but so far he is falling short, but he does have the 60 of Cotton Lane to his rescue to increase that speed. Actually, he looks like he's going to be taken 3 wide by the 60 of Cotton Lane. Almost scrapes that wall, but he was able to avoid scraping it. I'm not sure if he's trying to go at the back or maybe just shuffle it out to dry. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back, so stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Down Under 225, sponsored by Dean Stone. We do apologize, we're having some technical difficulties, but by the looks of it, they are fixed, and we do want to thank Dave Everly for that. But going back to the race right now, we have had a couple of lead changes. Right now, the 28 of Eric Roberts challenging the 11 of Brandon Massey, being pushed by the 16 of Curtis Aho, while the 11 of Massey is being pushed by the 45 of Eddie Hawks on that inside line. And this is lap number 21. The question remains, when does pitting start?
Well, Sean, it should be starting, I want to say, probably within the next 5 to 10 laps, maybe 15 laps, and we should definitely start seeing some green flag pit stops. As we know, doing 198 mile an hour, that takes a lot of fuel to push those cars.
Oh, absolutely right, Dave. And also, Dave, right now I'm looking at a couple of different packs that have been formed a single file. That does include the second pack being led by the 44 of Randy Caldwell, being pushed by the 87 of Justin Michael, who was up front early on, but decides to back it down. And also looks like there's a different pack behind him, and that's being led by the 9 of Austin Moore, being pushed by the 41 of Chris Perez, being challenged by the 654 of Josh Conker, being pushed by the 63 of Ryan Pandicio. And then a third pack, or I should say a fourth pack at this point, being led by the 66 of Charles Paradis, still in close range in the draft of the second pack, being pushed by the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne.
Yeah, they're definitely keeping it close there. It looks like they're just trying to avoid any possible wrecks here, but as you said, we've got 69 laps remaining. We've completed 21 of 90. We've had 9 lead changes and no cautions. So it looks like, Sean, we are going to see some green flag pit stops. And in one of your favorite sayings that I really enjoy, that separates the men from the boys.
Oh, absolutely right, Dave. I'm very excited to see those green flag pit stops. And right now, we do have the pack that we were focused on before we went to commercial, being led by the 5 of Jason Ashby. Nope, they're actually doing the leader goes to the back of the pack. So right now, the 1 of James O'Brien has shuffled out the 5 of Jason Ashby, pushing him back to the back of this pack so they can keep those motors cool and increase that speed. And right now they seem to have lost a lot of time, because before we went to commercial they were about 16 seconds back, but that has increased to about 24. And when I talk about those seconds, I mean seconds behind the leader. So those leaders are coming up to them here shortly. They're closer than they can imagine at this point. Trouble on pit road, Dave. The 66 of Charles Paradis had a spin out, but he was able to get back out there, and some green flag pit stops actually. The 911 of John Leboeuf down pit road, the 21 of Trevor Weiss down pit road, the 13 of Jean-Francois, and the 66 of Charles Paradis. Just like you had mentioned earlier on, Dave, once people start pitting in, everybody's gonna pretty much follow the lead of the first people, the first group of guys to go down pit road.
Well, as we switch here, the race leader, the 28 of Eric Roberts, makes his way. Oh, the 14 of Paulie Johnson gets spun around there. Looks like he got too hard on the brakes, but hopefully he didn't get a speeding penalty, as he had to lock up his brakes, as we got a big pile here down on pit road.
Oh, Dave, he most likely did get a speeding penalty. By the looks of it, he was doing a little bit above 65 miles an hour, while pit speed is 60 miles an hour. So that's most likely a speeding penalty on his part, and he does have a little bit of a rear end dent in the right rear of his Ford Mustang out there. So just hope it doesn't affect him too much.
Well, we're now focusing on the 3 of Dale Robertson, as it looks like he's got a big group here coming with him down on the pit road here. It's always fun to watch these. Oh, the 54 machine locks up his brakes, loses it, and hits the wall.
Oh my God, Dave. So far, we've had 3 drivers having trouble on pit entrance, because these guys do have different brake bias, and it's up to them to set it. So some guys are loose under braking while some are stable, but then have to brake a lot more compared to others.
Well, that was the 54 of Lance Marsh, as he has now got heavy front end damage, but he gets into his pit stall and gets right back out, as he is going to be with a group. So let's see, it'll be interesting to see how that's going to play out as far as pit strategy here.
And Dave, so far I'm looking at my stats, and only one driver is left out there without pitting in, and that's the 44 of Randy Caldwell. Actually, speaking of Randy Caldwell, he's down pit road. This time he spun out as well. He's sideways, nope, he's back. He recovered from it, but that is going to cost him a lot of time. But looks of it, Dave, he pitted in alone, and that's not pretty.
Well, Sean, you got to remember, you got to get these cars from 190 mile an hour plus down to 60, 65 mile an hour here on pit road in such a short time that, you know, you definitely got to watch your brakes and make sure you don't lock them up, as we are seeing cars spin. So that's definitely going to shake this field up here tonight as the 44 of Caldwell gets in, gets 4 tires and a full tank of fuel, and back out on the track.
And Dave, since he pitted in on his own, it's going to cost him a lot of time, just like it has. You know, he did spin out and pitted in alone. That's a double negative right there. So he's lost a lot of time, and he's most likely going to be going a lap down. If he's lucky enough, he might be picked up by a pack, but every pack seems to be zooming by him because he's not up to speed yet. No, he got sideways, tops that apron, almost spins out, was able to save it, is now on the track exiting turn 2 on the backstretch. He goes down below the yellow line to let the faster traffic by.
Well, it looks like our new race leader is going to be, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, the 11 of Brandon Massey here, as he is working with the 28 machine. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that is Eric Roberts who's pushing him, but they have a pack error of like 4 or 5 cars. They're going to be catching them here, as this is going to be the 4th lap led by the 11 of Brandon Massey here at Daytona.
And just like you had mentioned, this does separate the men from the boys. This pack has been, or the whole race, I should say the whole pack has been split into even more packs than we had. I believe before we had the green flag pit stops, we had 5 different packs out there, and now we have even more than that. And Dave, those guys who decided to hang back and pretty much ride about 6 to 7 seconds behind the lead pack, it's going to cost them a lot of time because this thing has gone green.
Yeah, we've already seen our first green flag pit stops here, about 24 to 26 laps into the race. So we got about another 25 laps here. It'll be interesting to see who's going to try to extend it to cut down on their pit times here. As we know, Daytona, its pit strategy is definitely a key component here to the race.
And Dave, we have 2 more cars going a lap down, and that does include the 59 of David White, currently being shown in 31st place, and also the 092 of Dean Stone being shown here in 32nd place, a lap down as well. So these guys, the 59 of White and the 092 of Stone, are racing for the Lucky Dog.
Hey, Sean, and back up at the front, it looks like the 18 of Travis Browder, who started in 17th, has worked his way up and led his first lap tonight. We saw him dominate last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the first race of Season 5 here for the Precision Racing League. So it's good to see him up front here. As we are looking back, his teammates currently running back into P8, and that will be the 87 of Justin Michael.
And the good thing for Travis is that the 87 of Justin Michael is still in the draft range of the same pack that he is leading, Travis Browder, that is. So he shouldn't have to worry too much about it so far. He's just having a Sunday drive, being pushed by the 11 of Brandon Massey. Actually, that's the 27 of Danny Duchesne. Or the 11 of Brandon Massey is challenging them on the outside line. The 28 of Eric Roberts giving him some assistance on the outside as well.
Now, Sean, here looking over the field, it looks like this track is definitely split out here, as we've got multiple packs here running together, going back to the 21 of Trevor White here, who's currently running in a pack a little further back here, as we are going to focus on him. Looks like he has got a 3-car pack with a 5-car pack in front of him. So we've got people spread out here. Looks like the 911 of John LeBluff is leading that pack with the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne.
And Dave, in the exact same pack, actually this is a different pack, we do have the 092 of Dean Stone and the 59 of David White, nose to tail, and both drivers do seem to have some damage on the front ends of those cars. The 092 of Stone is driving the Ford Mustang, while the 59 of David White is driving the Chevy Camaro. And by the looks of it, the 59 of David White has more damage than the 092 of Dean Stone, but that is affecting them. Damage plus damage is equal to even slower speeds compared to if only one car in that pack was damaged. And right now, the 59 of David White is choosing to challenge the 092 of Dean Stone as they are racing for the Lucky Dog.
Yeah, most definitely here. Sean, the way they're running, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to use a Lucky Dog here tonight. These guys are putting on a good show here. We've seen some mistakes making on pit entrance, but we have now ran 32 laps of green flag racing. We only have 58 laps more to go here in Daytona International Speedway for the Down Under 225.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. We might not see a caution tonight by the way things are going, just like you had pointed out, and that does force all these guys to up their game. And the guys who are going to up their game are those guys who are in the, are in different packs, separate packs, like the 092 of Dean Stone, 59 of David White, Lance Marsh, Ronald McManus, and Dave, we do have more drivers a lap down, and the 40 of Aaron Groskov is one of those drivers, the 78 of Ronald McManus, and also the 54 of Lance Marsh.
Well, they are tagged on here to the lead pack, which is definitely good for them. That means that they've got a good possibility of not going any more laps down here. Right now, it looks like the 40 of Aaron Groskov is currently sitting in the Lucky Dog position. So if something does happen and the race and the caution does come out tonight, he will take benefit of that Lucky Dog here. As these guys are currently running about anywhere between 8 to 11 laps on their tires. So probably within the next 10 to 15 laps here, we'll see another round of green flag pit stops.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. And if the caution does not come out, the best bet for these guys who are a lap down is for them to up their game and try and get their laps back the hard way, which means overtaking those leaders somehow. And that's the best strategy that they could have from that point.
Well, looking at our chat here, it looks like the 60 of Colton Lane has got a fan out there. As we've got WTFLOL 23456 rooting on the 60 of Colton Lane here tonight, as he is currently running in 7th position, running on the outside lane here of the lead pack, help pushing the looks like the 24 of Corey Blevins, the 16 of Curtis Aho, trying to push him up to the front here to get up and lead some laps.
And Dave, we've had a couple of more lead changes, and the 28 of Eric Roberts is now in the lead, not the 18 of Travis Brother from the last time we had checked. And that 28 of Roberts is being pushed by the 11 of Brandon Massey, while the 24 of Blevins is leading the outside with the help of the 16 of Curtis Aho. They do have the 4 of Sammy Holmes coming out of nowhere, starting in 8th place and currently being shown in 5th, right behind the 16 of Curtis Aho on the outside. That 24 of Corey Blevins is clear of the inside, but decides to stay high with the 16 of Curtis Aho on his rear end.
Yeah, it looks like the 18 of Travis Browder has fallen a little ways back there off of the back bumper of the 11 of Brandon Massey. Probably trying to get some air into that engine to cool that engine here, as we are still under green flag conditions here on lap 36 of 90. We've had 16 lead changes and no cautions here tonight, as Eric Roberts is probably one of our biggest movers, as he qualified in 18th position. He has gained 17 positions to take that race lead, as he has led 8 laps already here tonight.
That's very impressive there, Dave. And as the race goes on, we are going to be seeing a lot of new drivers, just like you had pointed out right there. The 18 of Travis Browder is one of the drivers here. He did start in 17th place and is back up there in 6th position after leading a couple of laps the last time we had checked on him. And also the 16 of Curtis Aho starting in 23rd place with no qualifying lap. He's now in 4th place. 2nd place on the outside line, pushing on the 24 of Corey Blevins.
Yeah, as we saw his teammate, the 14 of Paul Johnson, make a huge mistake there on his pit road entrance. I'm sure Paul was rooting him on, telling him, "Go Curtis, go." As we saw those guys work real well last night, or last season. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the 16 of Curtis Aho and the 14 of Paul D. Johnson for Big D's Racing, I do believe, I'll have to look on it here, but I think they won the team championship last year. But right now we do have a new race leader. That is going to be the 24 of Corey Blevins. as he has dropped down in front of the 28 of Eric Roberts and taken over that lead as he is going to lead his first lap of the night.
And that's why the driver who's been keeping a low profile in tonight's race, Dave, is the 22 of Jack Price, currently riding on the bottom behind the 27 of Danny Duchesne, being pushed by the 87 of Justin Michael. And so far, he's just trying to stay out of trouble, just pretty much going with the flow. We have one driver almost spinning out top of that apron. Let's see who that was. Looks like it was the 54 of Lance Marsh, got out of the way of those leaders, and is going down pit road this time on his own, by the looks of it.
Yeah, he's still got that heavy front end damage there on that car as we saw him smack the wall during the green flag pit stops as he is now pulling into his pit stall here, as it looks like he missed his stall, so he has got to back up into the stall.
And Dave, that 4 of Sammy Holmes currently breathing that motor after pushing for way too long on the 816 of Curtis Aho. And Curtis Aho is going to be overtaken by both the, looks like it's the 28. Nope, that is the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, coming out of nowhere with the 60 of Cotton Lane in the race lead on this lap.
Well, Sean, that is going to give us our 19th lead change here in 40 laps. These drivers are running real good tonight. They're running smooth here. Unfortunately, we haven't seen those 3 wide racing, but we haven't seen the big one yet, as these guys are showing how to race close vicinity here at Daytona.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. These guys have raced with each other a lot. They do know each other's driving styles, so they do race hard, but they do race clean. The 24, huge run on the outside with the help of the 11 of Massey to the race lead, challenging the 95 of Jeffrey Ford. And the 60 of Cotton Lane don't have a big enough run just yet. Yes, they do. Is it going to lead?
Well, it looks like the 4 of Sammy Holmes is going to jump onto the outside line there to give some help to that 24 of Corey Blevins. And the 11 machine they are definitely trying to make that outside line work. Here comes the 28 of Eric Roberts right behind the 4 of Sammy Holmes. And also it looks like can't see the machine there, but they have a 5 car. It looks like we're going to be five cars deep, 2 wide here coming into turns number 3 and 4.
And Dave, the good thing about being on the outside line versus the inside line is that it's easier for the pusher on the outside to cool that motor than it is for the guy on the inside to cool the motor on that bottom lane. And so that's a good thing about being on the outside, just like we had seen the 24 of Blevins had a huge run, because that 11 of Massey was able to cool that motor quicker than the 95 of Ford could do so. But right now the 95 of Ford is keeping a gap in between him and the 60 of Cotton Lane to try and keep some air, or to allow some airflow into that motor of his to avoid overheating. And right now the 4 of Sammy Holmes on the 3rd place on the outside is on the 11 of Brian Massey to increase that speed. To drag race into turn 3, that 24 of Blevins did lead a slight nose, but the 60 of Cotton Lane, huge run on the entrance of turn 3. The 24 of Blevins most likely is going to have a big run exiting the turn. By the looks of it, Dave, the outside line is starting to fall short. The 11 of Brandon Massey cannot do too good of a job because it doesn't have too much help from behind just yet. Actually, there's not even enough help at all. Right? Just like we have seen right now, the 28 of Eric Roberts is the only guy close enough, but there is a big gap in between him. But going back up front, we do have the 60 of Cotton Lane jumping out to block the run of the 24 of Blevins, leaving the 95 of Jeffrey Ford to lead the inside line.
Well, that was definitely an interesting move there by the 60 of Colton Lane to jump up and block that outside line. That allowed the 95 of Jeffrey Ford to take control of that bottom lane as the 16 of Curtis Aho jumps up in front of the 60 of Colton Lane here as they are coming into turn 1, as it looks like it went from a 2-car push on the outside to a 5-car push. Here they're running about even. Is also right behind it looks like the 87 of Justin Michael and the 18 of Travis Browder have kind of hooked up together They've also got the 40 machine of Aaron Grosskopf, who is currently the first car a lap down here, also on that bottom lane. So it looks like teammates are trying to get to each other to be able to help here, as the 60 of Colton Lane and the 16 of Curtis Aho are pushing away and got a pretty good gap here, as the 24 of Corey Blevins and his pushers there kind of get left out to dry, and only a 3-car push on the outside.
And Dave looking for the back at the second pack that we have. That's 6 seconds actually. It's catching up to that lead pack. 6 seconds behind the lead pack is the 13 of Jacques Francois leading the second pack. Side by side of the 3 of Daryl Robertson being pushed by the 911 of John Leboeuf, and also 654 of Josh Conker. These guys have hooked up and they are up to speed and catching up to that lead pack. Oh, the 911 of Leboeuf hooks that 13 of Jacques Francois, bats it off. That was almost ugly.
Yeah, that could have been bad, as the 3 of Dale Robertson jumps down in behind the 13 machine of Jacques-Francois Champagne, giving him a 4-car push on the inside, while the 654 of Conquer and the 63 of Pedicio get left out to dry here, as it looks like maybe the 21 machine of Trevor White starts making his way down on the pit road, as we've got 3 cars. Oh, look at him. Oh, the 13 gets sideways. Luckily, he's able to keep it off the wall. Also, the 21 machine of Trevor White spins out onto pit road, but is luckily to keep it off the wall, as we are still seeing drivers having issues getting down onto pit road.
And we have more drivers down pit road. The 5 of Jason Ashby just left pit road. The 8 of Stephen Anguilla just left pit road. And also the 78 of Ronald McManus. So this is the second round of green flag pit stops. And speaking of the 78 of Ronald McManus, he actually does have heavy damage. Right now he's on pit road getting some service on the car. He's being shown in 31st place, 2 laps down, but he does have some heavy damage in the rear end, but none on the front end. So that should not affect him too much. And going back up front, we still have the 60 of Cotton Lane still leading the pack with the help of the 95 of Jeffrey Ford. And so far, Dave, looks like it's just pretty much single file. So by the looks of it, these guys are ready for some more green flag pit stops. They're just setting themselves up to get with their teammates so they can pit in together. And the 911 of John Leboeuf gets lapped by this pack, as he was the only car in his pack to have a successful pit stop, and now he's paying the price by the looks of it.
Yeah, most definitely here, as we see the 60 machine in that Ford Mustang of Colton Lane here leading his 11th lap here, leading this pack. Sean, the way my math is working, I think we are going to have at least one more pit stop to be able to go out and definitely take a look here. They're going to have stop at least one more time before the end of the race.
Oh, Dave, if that is the case, and that is going to throw quite the loophole for these guys, or in these guys' strategy, that's going to make things even more interesting. And most likely going to see some more cars go a lap down. We have more guys peeling off to go down pit road. We do have the 22 of Jack Price. He is being followed by the 24 of Corey Blevins, and also this 27 of Danny Duchesne.
As we are going to follow them down on pit road here, we're going to focus on the 24 of Corey Blevins here, see exactly what kind of pit stops they're going to do. Are they going to do 2 tires? Or are they in here for 4 tires and a full tank of fuel? Looks like the 24 of Corey Blevins is going to take left side tires only here, as he is going to be followed by the 22 of Jack Price making their way off of pit road. That is still going to have the 60 of Colton Lane currently in the lead here, as they are now breaking off here into pit road with the 16 of Curtis Aho, the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, the 11 machine of Brandon Massey. Also, it looks like the 28 of Eric Roberts are now making their way down on the pit road. That is going to give that race lead back over to the 18 of Travis Browder, putting the 87 of Justin Michael in second position. The 911 of John LaBeouf is currently your first car lap down here. Actually, he's the second car lap down here, as the 4 of Sammy Holmes is also in this pack as well, currently in third position.
And Dave, that was some great 3-wide action going down pit road on pit entrance there. These guys were slowing down and decided to just go as far apart from each other, so that caused them to go 3 wide, but they were all able to get in there successfully. And so far, Dave, we've seen a lot of guys spin out on pit entrance due to how much time or how little of time they have to slow those cars down from 190 plus miles an hour down to 60.
Well, as we saw the 18 of Travis Browder and the 87 on our chopper cam, they're come into pit road sideways, but able to keep it off the wall, as it looks like they are going to get back out, and they were able to avoid any speeding penalties, as it looks like they are doing a 2-tire stop and back out, as the 87 of Justin Michael is going to beat the 18 of Travis Browder out of pit road.
He beats him off pit road, but they still stay nose to tail here, and they are following the 9 of Austin Moore, who is a lap down in 19th place, and also the 41 of Chris Perez in 17th place, a lap down as well. So Chris Perez and the 9 of Austin Moore are both fighting for the lucky dog. And also, Dave, in 3rd place, we do have the 4 of Sammy Holmes, but that's going to change once they cross the start-finish line. But the 4 of Sammy Holmes was in 3rd place when going down to pit road. But so far, he does seem to be having some bad luck, because he is being overtaken by pretty much everybody.
Yeah, it looks like he's losing that pack draft there, as everybody seems to get around him, as he is going to jump up there behind try to use the draft of the 78 of Ronald McManus to get back up to that pack, as they are definitely pulling away, as it looks like our new race leader is going to be the 87 of Justin Michael. But it looks like he is getting overtaken by the 60 of Colton Lane, with the help of 95 of Jeffrey Ford, the 16 of Curtis Aho, and the 5 of Jason Ashby, and the 8 of Stephen Aguiar, all working on that outside, leaving the 87 of Justin Michael and 18 of Travis Browder to work with themselves to try to fight back here on the inside lane.
And Dave, we have one driver on a different strategy compared to everybody else, and that is the 44 of Randy Codwell. He did pit it on his own on the first round of green flag piss-ups, and he did the exact same thing on the second round. But on the second round, he did end up missing his pit stop and had to back up. But then on the first round, he did end up spinning out and had to still get back up to speed.
Well, it looks like he is going to go a lap down, as our race leaders have now passed him. As he makes a mistake, gets a little bit above that yellow line, gets that car spun around, but he's able to keep it down below the yellow line and get it spun back around, as he is going to try to get back up to speed. But that is going to make him lose a lot of time.
That is very unfortunate, Dave. And going back up front, the 60 of Colton Lane being challenged by the 87 of Justin Michael, who's most likely to take back the race lead, crossing the start-finish line, this time by being pushed by the 18 of Travis Browder, who is his teammate. And they do take the race lead back here on lap number 55, but the 60 of Colton Lane and the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, who is pushing on him, is backing it down right now. Actually, not backing down, but he is trying to cool that motor.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are past the halfway mark here tonight in our Down Under 225 here, brought to you by the Precision Racing League, the United Armed Services Oval Series. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick commercial break, so refill your drinks, refill your soda, because when we come back, we are going to be live until the conclusion of the Down Under 225. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the United Armed Services Oval Series with the Precision Racing League. This is a Down Under 225 sponsored by the 092 of Dean Stone. Going back to the race lead here, we do have the 16 of Curtis Aho in the race lead, side by side of the 60 of Cotton Lane, who has been challenging him ever since before we went to the commercial break. And the 95 of Jeffrey Ford has been on the 60 of Cotton Lane ever since we left, and has been assisting that 60 of Lane back to back. And the 18 of Jensen Mack right now pushing on the 16 of Curtis Aho to help him keep maintaining that lead, and so far it does seem to be working.
Well, these drivers have definitely worked hard here tonight, as we are now completed lap 59 of 90 with 31 laps to go. Sean, if my math is right, we got about 6 laps, and these drivers will be right inside the pit window to be able to pit for the final time here tonight, as we have gone caution-free here at Daytona International with the Precision Racing League Down Under 225, the United Armed Services Oval Series. What great action here tonight so far.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. And if that is the case, then we should expect to see a lot of guys short pitting, or maybe trying to run their tanks dry to try and pit in as a pack. But we're gonna definitely see a lot of different pit strategies around the whole track. And Dave, right now we only have a top five pack right now, and behind the top 5 we have a second pack. That's 11 seconds back. It's being led by the 24 of Corey Blevins, who is being pushed by the 22 of Jack Price. These guys seem to be single file. They have about 2, 4, 6. That is a 6-car pack. And behind that pack is the 14 of Poddy Johnson challenging the 78 of Ronald McManus.
Yeah, most definitely here. These guys are trying to catch up. As I'm currently looking, Corey Blevins is right about 12 and a half seconds behind the leader here, as it actually looks like they are losing ground to our lead pack. So these guys need to get on the ball here, as these laps are ticking down. So there's only a limited amount of time here, as it's now up to 12.9 seconds behind our leader, the 60 of Colton Lane. So this pack has definitely got to work, as we have another car making his way off of pit road as we speak. That's going to be the 092 of Dean Stone.
092 of Dean Stone being shown currently in 31st place, 13 laps down. That is very unfortunate, having a rough race tonight, and also just like he had last week. But last week he finished 13 laps down, which is very unfortunate after him hitting the wall exiting turn 4 at Charlotte and smoking heavily. And the good thing about this pack here, Dave, the second pack we're talking about, it's been caught by the 911 of John Love, who was being pushed by the 3 of Dean Stone. So this pack has got bigger.
Well, we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on that, is they are actually starting to make up ground here. Was at one point 13.3 here. Now it looks like Corey Blevins has cut it down to about 13 seconds. So this group, with all these cars, are definitely making their way here, catching that lead pack, as they are working here mostly single file. We do have a couple here on the outside, the 911 of John LaBeouf, and also it looks like the 14 of Paul D. Johnson is also going to be on that outside line. The 3 of Dale Roberts as well. So, but for the most part, these guys are gaining ground here a little bit on that lead pack.
That is very good for them, Dave, because by the looks of it, this thing just might go green all the way. We have not had a single caution. This is lap number 64. And Dave, I'm focused on the field. I'm looking at the results or the stats at the moment, and it looks like we have only 16 drivers on the lead lap, and from 17th all the way down to about 33rd, we have all these drivers 1 or more laps down. So that's very unfortunate. That's something interesting that happens when we have green flag pit stops like this, Dave.
Well, one driver I'm definitely shocked at seeing a lap down is that number 1 of James O'Brien, as we saw him last season have a very good season here, as he is currently in this second pack that we're watching, but he is currently sitting in 19th position, 1 lap down. That's highly unusual for that one machine of James O'Brien.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. At this point, he's most likely hoping for a caution, or maybe, we never know, it just might be a strategy. Maybe he has something up his sleeve to try and outsmart everybody else. But by the looks of it, just like everyone else, his last pit stop was 15 laps ago. So I guess maybe he doesn't have a different pit strategy, because they all have the exact same number of laps on their tires. So at this point, he's actually racing the 41 of Chris Perez and the 66 of Charles Paradis for that lucky dog if the caution does come out, but he does have them ahead of him. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he has planned for them. And right now, Dave, the outside line seems to be dying, being led by the 66 of Charles Paradis, who is a new driver to the series. Well, Dave, let's run on the in car of 66 of Paradis, just so we can watch how he's working that draft down the outside like that. We can see right now he's trying to get as close as possible to the 87 of Justin Mike on the inside to try and use the benefit of the side draft, because he's not getting any draft from the front end. But the 41 of Chris Perez coming to his rear end right now, and Chris Perez has been pushing for way too long. So at this point he is overheating, and that's why the outside line did die. But the 41 of Perez had to back off to avoid blowing it up, at the same time to allow air to enter that motor. And these guys are coming up to a slower car. That's the 44 of Randy Caldwell, currently being shown in 27th place, a lap down, going 2 laps down, this time by. They take him 3 wide, he stays on outside, they make it stick nice and tight. Great job by these guys, they make that pass successfully on him. And the good thing about this, Dave, is that he's going to catch a break and he's going to be able to tag onto the back end of this draft. And Dave, going back to the second pack, that's being led by the 911 of John Luboff. They are now 13 seconds behind the leaders. Last we checked, they were about 12 seconds behind them, so that has increased by 1 second, but they're still right now double file, using the benefit of the side draft to try and increase that speed. So far, no luck. The 911 of Luboff is being pushed by the 24 of Corey Blevins. The other 3 of Darrell Robertson is leading the outside with the help of the 4 of Sammy Holmes. Sammy Holmes backing off right now, leaving the 3 of Darrell Robertson to dry. Nope, he's not leaving him to dry. He's just backing off to try and cool that motor. That's the thing here, Dave. The more they cool those motors, the less speed they have and the more time they lose. So it's a give and take at this track like this.
Yeah, most definitely. These guys got to cool them engines out, pushing like they are, bumper to bumper. It is going to get hot, and you have to pay attention, because it is definitely a chance here to blow their engine. As we are on lap 68 of 90, Sean, we are now within the pit window here for final green flag pit stops, as it looks like right about 5 laps is the normal. So it'll be interesting to see if there's going to be any different pit strategies here tonight. As we go back up front, we still have the 16 of Curtis Aho leading the field, as he has now led 11 laps tonight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have done 69 laps. We've had 31 lead changes and no cautions so far tonight.
And Dave, speaking of those pit strategies, we do have the 28 of Eric Roberts down pit road with the 13 of Jean-Francois. By the looks of it, they just rode off pit road this time. They're the first group to go down pit road. I mean, they're only 2 guys, so I don't think I can call them a group, but they did pit in. They're the first ones to have the 3rd round of green flag pit stop. So it's just a matter of time until everybody else realizes they won't be able to make it and start going down pit road at the same time as well. And Dave, looking further back as well, we have the 63 of Ryan Pandisio, who is being shown the last car on the lead lap, pushing on the 40 of Aaron R. Groskov, who is 1 lap down in 25th place. These guys right now working together, trying their best to not lose as much time as they would if they were alone. They have 1 car behind them. That is the 55 of Karsten Quint, who is in 24th place, a lap down as well.
Yeah, it looks like the 63 of Pandisio is going to be the odd car out, as the 40 of Aaron Groskov and the 55 of Karsten Quint are in them Ford Mustangs, while the 63 of Pandisio is definitely in that Chevy Camaro. So we've got 2 Fords and a Chevy working together here as they are trying to work their way around the track here. as we are now 19 laps to go. We are on the final stint here at Daytona.
And Dave, we have one more driver down pit road. That is the 911 of John LaBeouf. So far, it looks like he's the only one on pit road, so he did pit in alone. That is not a good thing, Dave.
Yeah, definitely in this last stint, you definitely try not to come down here by yourself, but he may have been running low on fuel, so unfortunately he may have had no choices. It looks like all he took was a splash of fuel, no tires, and is making his way back out on the track.
And as he was making his way off pit road, Dave, he did get overtaken by the lead pack, so he did go one lap down.
Well, Sean, it looks like the 4 of Sammy Holmes, the 11 of Brandon Massey, the 3 of Dale Robertson, the 22 of Jack Price, the 21 of Trevor White, the 8 of Stephen Aguiar, the 5 of Jason Ashby have now all came in for their final pit stop of the night. The 4, Sammy Holmes, slides through his pit stall. He's got to back up as the left side goes up. He is taking 2 tires and fuel and is back out on the track here as they are going to be led off pit road by the 11 of Brandon Massey.
And going back up front, we still have some side-by-side battle going on amongst the leaders here. The 16 of Curtis Aho trying his best to maintain the lead, but the 60 of Cotton Lane still challenging him. All the 95 of Jeffrey Ford is all over his rear end. But it looks like these two pushes, the 87 of Justin Michael and the 95 of Jeffrey Ford are cooling those motors, so they do have less speed, and that helps the packs behind them to catch up to them easily.
Well, we got some 3-wide action as we got slower lap traffic there, hugging down right next to that yellow line. It looks like everybody is going to get around them safely here. It looks like that may have slowed that inside lane up here a little bit as they are going to go for another lap here. They are not coming down into pit road as they are now on 25 laps since their last pit stop.
Well, Dave, we can now say that these guys are going to run these tanks dry. Maybe if they're lucky enough, caution comes out, they might be able to make it, but I'm pretty sure it might not be the case. Even if a caution were to come out, they would still have to pit in. And speaking of pitting in, we have 2 more drivers down pit road. Actually, 3 drivers. Nope, 5 drivers. That 24 of Corey Blevins, the 27 of Danny Duchesne, 654 Josh Conker, 14 of Poddy Johnson, the 40 of Aaron R. Groskov, 59 of David White, and also 78 of Ronald McManus down pit road.
Well, Sean, it looks like his lead pack is going to go another way around as they are starting to catch that 21 of Trevor White, who is starting to move a little way up the track here. He does not get out of the way. They split him, taking him 3 wide with the 21 of Trevor White in the middle, but everybody is able to get around him as they got to slow down as they were gaining on him in a hurry as he's now moved up into the outside there, but that has definitely slowed that momentum there of that lead pack.
Absolutely, Dave, but that was some great driving on these drivers' parts, Dave. And look, they all just went single file, so they just might be setting themselves up for the last green flag pit stops of the night.
Yes, it looks like they are all getting ready to come in here. Yep, here they come into pit road here as we see everybody breaking off. Oh, the 66 machine gets hard on its brakes and is spun around. Charles Paradas gets spun around there on his entry into pit road. As we still see drivers having issues getting down onto pit road from 190 to 60 mile an hour, but good job by him by keeping it from hitting other cars or putting it into the wall.
And something as well that's unfortunate happened to the 2 drivers, the 95 of Jeffrey Ford and the 60 of Cotton Lane. Both drivers drove through their pit stalls and had to back up, and that did cost them a little bit of time, so that they have even more work to do than they previously had. Those are the 2 leaders up front, the 18 of Justin Michael and also the 18 of Travis Brother going down pit road this time by.
Looks like they are going to be followed by the 1 machine. Oh, the 18 of Travis Browder spins around on the entrance there as he keeps it off of the wall, gets it spun back around, but it does look like the 1 of James O'Brien is going to come down with him. Also the 44 of Randy Caldwell down on pit road here as we have now completed a full round of green flag pit stops here. It'll be interesting to see. That is going to slow down the 18 of Travis Browder, who we saw run a dominating race last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
The 18 of Justin Michael is now off pit road. So is the 1 of James O'Brien and the 44 of Randy Caldwell. So these guys do have, well, they are very spaced out, and the best bet is for them to back it up and regroup. The 44 of Caldwell has some trouble again, hits that apron, goes sideways again twice. The same exact lap, but he was able to keep it under control and stay off the track.
Oh, it looks like he made contact again, and this time he is going to spin around, but he does keep it below that yellow line, so we are staying green flag racing here as he gets it turned back around here, trying to get back up to speed and onto the track. Seems he is having some issues in that 44 machine of his tonight.
Absolutely, Dave. He is an amazing driver, but unfortunately he's not having the best of luck tonight. And also the 18 of Travis Browder right now, after making his mistake, is now being shown 10 seconds behind the 87 of Justin Michael, who is the race leader. The 16 of Curtis Aho is in third place, while the 95 of Jeffrey Ford is behind him. That actually updated. The 16 of Curtis Aho is now in second place, 3 seconds behind the leader. And the 95 of Jeffrey Ford is in third place, pushing on the 16 of Curtis Aho. So they are catching up to the 87 of Justin Michael by the looks of it.
Well, it definitely looks like this final pit stop of the night here, this third green flag pit stop, as we are now on lap 78 of 90 with 12 to go, has definitely shook up the field, as it looks like the 87 of Justin Michael is working in a field here, but it looks like he is working with a bunch of lap cars here, as he is currently behind the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne and the 28 of Eric Roberts. He's got the 1 of James O'Brien running behind him, and also behind him is going to be, looks like the 6x4 of Josh Conker. So I don't know if a 2-car pack's going to be able to catch him, but he is working with some lap traffic here. Doesn't look like he's in too big of a hurry. He is just trying to ride, cool his machine, as he is currently led 14 laps here tonight.
And right now, Dave, he is side by side with the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne and the 28 of Eric Roberts, who are both vulnerable to going a lap down if the 87 of Justin Michael gets around him or gets around them. So right now they're trying to keep the 87 of Justin Michael behind them, so they can avoid going a lap down, because they are in risk of going a lap down. They are the only 2 cars right now. They're I should say the 13 of Jean-Francois is the last car on the lead lap, while the 28 of Eric Roberts is next in line.
Well, as we look here, Justin Michael currently our race leader, the 16 of Curtis Aho running in second, but he is about 3.3 seconds behind the 87 machine of Justin Michael, and it seems like it's only getting larger as Justin Michael is running in a larger pack here, as we are now 10 laps to go, Sean.
10 laps to go, Dave. This is go time for most drivers. We're going to be seeing a lot of even harder racing than we had seen early on. And so far, Dave, the 41 of Chris Perez has been hooked up with the 16 of Curtis Aho and the 95 of Jeffrey Ford. They're trying to use the 41 of Chris Perez to increase that momentum, to increase that speed, to increase those chances of them catching the leader, the 87 of Justin Michael. But so far, no luck. They are losing a lot of time. Well, not losing a lot of time, but they are losing some time.
Yeah, as we look now, it looks like there is about a 3.9 second gap, a 4-second gap now, over the 87 of Justin Michael and the 16 of Curtis Aho, as we are in the final stretch here in our caution-free race here at Daytona. Looks like the Precision Racing League is putting on a show for everybody here tonight, as we've seen multiple people spin and making mistakes there on the entrance into pit road, but the yellow flag has not flown here tonight, as we are now 8 laps remaining here on lap 82 of 90.
And Dave, let's focus on the second pack being led by the 18 of Travis Browder. They are 12 seconds behind the 87 of Justin Michael, and right now they have a very, very big pack. Oh, the caution is out! Caution is out! First caution, lap 83. Let's see what's involved in that. Looks like that did involve the 1 of James O'Brien, 95 of Jeffrey Ford, and the 16 of Curtis Aho.
Well, as we pull up our Dre Broadcasting Network instant replay here, we are going to focus on the 1 of James O'Brien here to see if we can see exactly what happened, as they were running in close quarters here. They were running 2 wide. Looks like the 6x4 of Conker gets to the inside, makes contact with the 1 of James O'Brien, and sends him around and onto the track, bringing out our first caution of the night. The 95 of Jeffrey Ford tried to miss the 1 of James O'Brien. The car got loose, and he spun around, but he was able to keep it off of the wall.
Dave, that was some great driving by everybody to avoiding that wreck, but that is very unfortunate for all the drivers involved. And Dave, that is going to throw quite the loophole, or quite, it's going to change the strategies of these guys. I mean, the Daytona Justin Michael did seem as though he had it under control, and I mean, he pretty much seemed as though he was going to bring it home, but now that definitely does change this game, because this pack is all going to, the whole pack is going to be bunched up.
Yeah, that's the one thing right now the 87 of Justin Michael and that Toyota Camry did not want to see, is this is going to give the 16 of Curtis Aho, the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, the 18 of Travis Browder, the 11 of Brandon Massey, the 3 of Dale Roberts, the 4 of Sammy Holmes, the 27 of Danny DeShane, the 60 of Colton Lane, and the 24 of Corey Blevins. That is going to tighten these guys up here on the restart, as we've got 7 laps to go. So we are going to see a battle. We are going to see a shootout here tonight at Daytona for the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series.
Well, Dave, let's take one final commercial break while we're under caution. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, so stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Down Under 225, sponsored by the 092 of Dean Stone. And once again, this is the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series, sponsored by the 092 of Dean Stone as well. But going back to the race here, Dave, we're going to have less than 5 laps to go. Once that green flag flies, because the 5 lap mark, or 5 to go mark, just flew this time by, and we're still under caution. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, Dave.
Oh, most definitely here. Looking, we've ran 85 laps of 90. We have 5 laps to go as the lights are still on the pace car, so they are going one more lap around. So it looks like it is going to be about a 3-lap shootout here. We've had 35 lead changes and only 1 caution here tonight. We are currently being led by the 87 of Justin Michael. The 16 of Curtis Aho will be on the inside. The 95 of Jeffrey Ford will be lining up behind the 87 of Justin Michael. And the 18 of Travis Browder will be lining up behind the 16 of Curtis Aho.
And Dave, we only have 14 drivers on the lead lap. By the looks of it, the 28 of Eric Roberts and the 63 of Ryan Pandisio were able to stay on the lead lap after being vulnerable to going a lap down. And the 40 of Aaron R. Groskov seems to have a little bit of rear end damage on his Ford Mustang. Let's just hope it doesn't affect him too much, but it looks like he's still a lap down in 26th position. Well, Dave, the question remains, what's the 87 of Justin Michael going to do once the green flag flies? Is he going to try and block the runs of all those guys around him, because they won't make it easy for him, Dave?
Oh no, especially with this 3-lap shootout. Everybody is going to want to win here tonight at Daytona. They want to get that first win of the season, as we saw the 18 of Travis Browder get his first race last week but he definitely would like to get a second one in a row under his belt, as the lights on the pace car are now off, as these guys are now double file getting ready to go back to green flag racing.
This is going to be a very, very interesting restart. The 87 of Justin Michael is going to be pushed by the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, while the 16 of Curtis Aho is going to be pushed by the teammate to the 87 of Justin Michael, the 18 of Travis Browder, right behind the 16 of Curtis Aho, second place on the outside line, being assisted or helped by the 3 of Dale Robertson, while third place on the bottom we have the 11 of Brandon Massey.
Oh, most definitely. And ladies and gentlemen, all those viewers at home, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, so that you can follow Dre Broadcasting Network as we bring you as much live racing as we possibly can here, as we have got a doozy here, a fun 3-lap shootout here for the checkered flag for the second race of the season of the United Armed Services Oval Series, brought to you in part by Precision Racing League.
As they enter turns number 3, they bunch them up nice and tight. It looks a bit the 95 of Ford does have a little bit of right front damage, but that shouldn't affect him too much, considering he's going to have the 11 of Brandon Massey all over his back bumper to make sure the momentum is nothing or gets nothing but higher. As they exit turn 4 this time by getting bunched up nice and tight, 80 miles an hour for the last time this time by. If the caution does come out, if the caution does come out, it's going to actually seal the deal. So we hope that doesn't happen.
Well, as we are currently following him, as the pace car makes its way off pit road, the 87 of Justin Michael is hard on that throttle, as the 16 of Curtis Aho jumps down underneath in front of the 95 of Jeffrey Ford. That is going to leave the 18 of Travis Browder, but the 87 of Justin Michael jumps back up to help his teammate, leaving the 16 of Curtis Aho with no help, as the 18 of Travis Browder gets to the back bumper of the 87 of Justin Michael here, as we have got 3 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen, as it looks like the bottom line, the 95 of Jeffrey Ford is making his way up to the bumper of Curtis Aho, but the 3 of Dale Robertson, the 4 of Sammy Holmes, jump to the outside there to give some help to that outside line, as the 18 of Travis Browder and the 87 of Justin Michael have cleared Curtis Aho, but it looks like they are going to stay up on that outside lane, letting the 16 of Curtis Aho lead that inside line.
Right now, the strategy of the 18 of Justin Michael and the 18 of Brother is to stay on the high side to try and avoid being passed. And the 18 of Brother is trying to block the run of the 3 of Robertson right behind him to avoid, or they make contact. And it turns number 1, the 95 of Ford and the 3 of Robertson. They're able to keep it under control. The 18 of Brother still on the back bumper of the 87 of Justin Michael, pushing him. That 16 of Aho is occupied the inside, leading the bottom lane with help of the 95 of Jeffrey Ford. Let's see what happens. The white flag is going to fly this time by. The outside line has been spaced out due to the contact made between those two drivers. The 4 of Sammy Holmes is catching up to the 3 of Robertson to try and increase that momentum of the outside line. The 9-11 of John Leva, 4th place in the bottom lane behind the 11 of Brandon Massey, is trying to get onto his back bumper, but so far he is boxed in and has nowhere to go.
Well, Sean, it looks like the 87 of Justin Michael there is going to take. There is contact between Travis Browder. They are wrecking on the infield, but they cross the start-finish line, so the caution is not going to fly, as the 87 of Justin Michael is left all alone on the outside, as the 3 of Dale Robertson is all over the back bumper of Curtis Aho, as the 4 of Sammy Holmes is all over his bumper. Unfortunately, as they are now on the back stretch, the 87 of Justin Michael jumps down in front of Corey Blevins, but it looks like the 16 of Curtis Aho is going to propel here, as they are now single file here into turn number 3.
That 4 of Sammy Holmes deciding to stay behind the 3 of Dale Robertson. The 18 of Justin Michael decides to stay there because he has no choice. With the 16 of Curtis Aho, no pressure from behind. Just the 4 of Sammy Holmes jumps to the outside, but does not have enough. Does not seem he's going to have enough to challenge that 16 of Aho. And the 16 of Curtis Aho brings it home. The 18 of Justin Michael sideways. The 4 of Sammy Holmes comes out in 4th place. The 3 of Dale Robertson in 2nd place. I did not see that. I thought the 3 of Robertson was a lap down, but by the looks of it, he was on the lead lap. So we have 16 of Curtis Aho in 1st place, the 3 of Dale Robertson in 2nd place, 87 of Justin Michael, in 3rd, and the 4 of Sammy Holmes in 4th place, the 24 of Corey Blevins in 5th place. Well, Dave, that was a wild finish. Unfortunately, we had the big wreck as soon as the white flag had flown, so the caution did not fly. So that did end the race just the way it was up there, but that was very, very entertaining. We're going to interview the top 3 finishers, the 16 of Curtis Aho, the 3 of Dale Robertson, and the 87 of Justin Michael. So stay tuned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the top 3 finishes up here as we focus on the 16 of Curtis Aho doing those donuts after his victory tonight.
How you guys doing?
Good, and how are you, buddy?
Oh, not bad.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the 16 of Curtis Aho bringing home the win tonight after starting in 23rd place with no qualifying lap. How the heck were you able to achieve that success tonight, Curtis, without your teammate behind you tonight?
Oh man, just keep the car clean, kept moving positions up, had some good pit stops, and a lot of good help pushing all the way around.
Nicely said there, Curtis, and that was some great driving on your part. We did see almost, I should say over 5 drivers tonight had trouble going down pit road tonight and spun out and ended up missing their pit stops and had to back up, which did cost them a lot of time. Were you one of those drivers tonight?
Luckily I wasn't. I did skid a little bit coming in the pit road, but didn't have too much of a problem. And every time I'd get back out, I would link up with somebody, and just worked out.
Oh, 10-4, buddy. And did the car meet your expectations tonight, or do you think it could have been better?
No, it definitely met my expectations. Kept it clean and it stayed in the draft.
Oh, 10-4, Curtis. And Curtis, tonight, did you have any strategies that didn't work out, or was everything as good gets? Because by the looks of it, you were able to win tonight's race after starting in 23rd place. And just like I had mentioned, your teammate wasn't behind you, the 14 of Porty Johnson tonight.
Yeah, it was as good as it could get. Everything fell into place, and then at the end right there, Dale went over the radio and said he was going to keep pushing me, and got to give a big thanks to him.
Oh, copy that, Curtis. Well, once again, congratulations on your win tonight, Curtis. And before we let you go, any final words or shout-out you'd like to give?
Thanks to my sponsors, RV Rental and Big D's, and to my teammate.
Well, once again, Curtis, congratulations on your win tonight after starting in 23rd place. And we do look forward to seeing you again next week at New Hampshire. Have a good night and a good rest of the week, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you. You too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a 16 of Curtis Aho, but right behind him is a 3 of Dale Robertson. You got a copy there, Dale?
Yep, gotcha.
How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm good. It's pretty good. I've had bad luck. Daytona and Talladega last 2 years. This was a good ending to that bad luck.
Oh, absolutely, Dale. You did do a great job out there, starting in 11th place tonight and finishing in 2nd place. And tell us about your race tonight, Dale.
I moved over at the start on pit road because I wanted to start at the back. I think within 5 laps I'd gotten all the way back up to where I was. I kind of played out from there. First stop I took 4 tires, ended up sort of back, middle. I stayed there for a while, and eventually somehow I got up to 6th behind Brandon, and we just moved there. Then the caution came out at a perfect time and just let me get to where I was.
Oh, copy that, Dale. And Dale, on the last couple of laps, once the green flag had flown with, I believe, less than 2 to 3 laps to go before the white flag had flown, we noticed you just decided to stay behind the 16 of Curtis Aho. Was that the best ride you could have done, or thinking about it now, could you have done it differently?
I think I could have passed him, but when I'd gotten into 3rd and then 2nd, after they'd wrecked behind us right after the white flag, I just decided that top 5 is good enough, so I just went for it, kept him going, and just wanted to give him that win.
Oh, 10-4, Dale. And Dale, you did do an amazing job in tonight's race, and also an amazing job last season as well. And what should we expect from you this season?
A whole lot better than last season. I don't think I did very well last season. This is going to be my comeback.
Oh, copy that, Dale. That is very, very good to hear. Well, Dale, I want to congratulate you on your 2nd place mission. Before we let you go, any shout-out you'd like to give?
Just my teammate Jack Price. He was there, helping out. I was helping him. That's it.
Well, once again, Dale, congratulations on your 2nd place finish, and we look forward to seeing you again next week at New Hampshire, buddy. Good night.
Thank you.
That was a 3 of Darryl Robertson finishing in second place, but right behind him is the 87 of Justin Michael, running up the top 3, finishing in third place after starting in second place. Got a copy there, Justin?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Well, we're pretty disappointed right now, but we'll get them next week.
That's the spirit right there, Justin. We did notice you had a good race. Unfortunately for you, that caution had to come out like that when you had a 3-second lead, actually a 4-second lead, and increasing over the second pack that was being led by the 16 of Curtis Aho and a bunch of other guys trying to hunt you down. And that caution did come out and threw a loophole in your strategy. And then the last couple of laps there, your teammate, the 18 of Travis Browder, ended up getting spun out while you were leading the outside line and were in a very good spot to winning the race tonight. And think about it, Justin, was there anything you could have done differently, or was everything according to plan?
I mean, I don't know. The only thing is, if I knew that was going to happen to Travis, I would have gotten to the low lane earlier and just blocked like hell the last lap or two, just to keep him behind me. But other than that, I don't. But you can't predict the future, so nothing I can do about it. I mean, we're lucky to get by Sammy on the at the start-finish line there and get back to third. So.
Oh, absolutely, Justin. And looking at it right now, you and Sammy both tied for the third place position with .130 crossing the start-finish line. And Justin, tonight we had a lot of trouble on pit road. Were you involved in any of it at all?
Oh yeah, so me and Travis made an interesting pit entry earlier where we were trying to get around some lap cars and pit at the same time, and we both got in just way too hot, and we were sideways every which way except spinning, and we got it slowed down and got to pit road. I still don't see how. I'm sure it'll be all over Facebook by morning, because I'm sure Travis will post it everywhere.
Absolutely, Justin. Well, I am glad that despite that happening to you, you were still able to finish in third place tonight, up starting in second place. And before we let you go, Justin, any final words or shout out you'd like to give?
Yeah, just everybody out there watching on the new Dre network. Is it Dre or DRE? You tell me. How do you say it?
That could be. It could go either way, Dre or DRE.
Okay, we'll say DRE. And so everybody watching out there on the new DRE network, and then everybody watching on my stream at SimTV or twitch.tv/SimTV Nation. I was up to about 7-8 viewers tonight, so that was always good. I love to have some fans watching. So check it out. Hit the follow button. We stream 3-4 nights a week, unless I'm sick like I am right now. So I'm gonna go take some NyQuil and go to bed. So.
Well, Justin, I am glad to hear that you were able to make tonight's race despite you being sick, and we do thank you for the kind words. And one more thing before you leave, next week we're going to be at New Hampshire. It is a flat track. What should we expect from you next week?
Hopefully I don't get lapped, because I hate flat tracks.
Copy that, and nicely said. Well, Justin, once again, congratulations on your top 3 finish tonight, and have a good night, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, that was the 87 of Justin Michael, but since both 87 of Justin Michael and the 4 of Sammy Holmes did tie for third place position with .130 of a lap, we're going to interview the 4 of Sammy Holmes as well. Got a copy there, Sam?
Hey, I got you guys. How y'all doing tonight?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Mentally exhausted. Holy crap.
I can only imagine, Sammy. I'm pretty sure you guys did not expect this thing to go green for a very long time, just like we had seen. This thing went green until, I believe, about lap 83, and we did have a lot of hard racing early on. We had 3 green flag pit stops tonight. Tell us about your race, Sam.
My race was good. I qualified up in the top, decided to go to the back early, and just was going to ride it out for a bit. My partner and I, Lance Marsh, we got together about mid-pack, and we were just kind of hanging in there riding, waiting for the first pit stops to happen, because we know the pit stops usually play a big role here. People speeding on pit road, people sliding through their boxes, things like that, different tire strategies. So we knew it was going to come in, so we just wanted to play our way to the first pit stop and go from there, and we did that. Unfortunately, my partner spun coming to pit road, which sucked really bad, so I had to end up running with some other guys that I wasn't used to running with on the plate tracks. But man, what a race. Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, my hands were sweating, my heart was beating. It was just unbelievable.
Unbelievable indeed, Sammy. You guys were racing hard but clean as usual. And yeah, we did notice that entering pit road, you did not enter alone, but exiting, you did exit alone. Just like you had pointed out, you ended up losing your partner due to him having trouble on pit entrance. And we did have more than 5 drivers having trouble entering pit road, but fortunately that still did not bring out any cautions, and most of those drivers were still unharmed and were still able to stay competitive out there. And Sammy, those couple of last laps, we noticed you just pretty much rode single file, 4th place in the line, coming to the start-finish line for the checkered flag. Do you think you could have done anything differently, or was that the way it could have ended either way?
I tell you, I can't believe that Justin snatched that third. I did a freeze frame of him and I crossing the start-finish line. Literally, I took a photo of it, and it is unbelievable to the naked eye how close it is. I don't even think for the naked eye you could tell. I cannot tell by looking at it. It's unbelievable that he got that. I thought he was going to go with me. He went high with me and gave me a push, and then at the very last second, he dashed to the middle. I guess he realized by that point that we were going to be able to take the first and second place, or either one of us were going to be able to get up there for the win. So looking back at it, I mean, I'm happy with a 4th place after last week at Charlotte. I was up here commentating with you all, which is not a good thing to do when you're racing. But I definitely thought that I could have made the move a little bit sooner. And had I had my partner there, somebody I was working with, we probably could have made the move sooner, but I just wasn't sure. With Corey being right there in 5th, if I would have pulled out of line any earlier, him and Justin would have blew right by me, and I would have been hung out to dry. So I'm glad that I stayed in line and just kind of stuck with Dale on his bumper. Tried to pull out at the last minute, thought Justin was going to go with me, and then he just obviously went down low and snatched up 3rd. But either way, all in all, a great race. I'm happy with the result. It was an amazing race.
Oh, absolutely, Sammy. A top 5 is always a good thing, especially when you have a lot of competition around you, just like you had tonight. And Sammy, I am glad to hear that, despite you going through everything you had tonight, like losing your teammate and losing a lot of time, being alone out of the draft, and being lucky enough to have a pack pick you up or you tag along with a different pack, you were still able to finish here in 4th place. I should technically say 3rd, because iRacing right now is scoring you both in 3rd place with the exact same time. So you guys were tied neck to neck crossing the start finish line. So you did do a great job regardless. Well, Sammy, next week we will be at New Hampshire. What should we expect from you next week, buddy?
I'm looking forward to it. I love New Hampshire. I had a great race there last season. Definitely looking forward to it. New Hampshire's always tricky with the off-camber corners, and the car tends to. The key to New Hampshire is rolling the middle of the corner really well. Getting in, rolling the middle well, and then getting off in the corners. The straightaways are straightaways like any other track, but the entry into the corners and rolling the middle is really key at New Hampshire, and that's the problem that most people have there is most people overdrive the entrance to the corner, which then kills them in the middle, and it kills their off. So if you can get into the corners good there, roll the middles good, you can come out and have a good day at New Hampshire. So I'm looking forward to it. I love that track. Had a great race there last season.
Oh, copy that, Sammy. Since you are looking forward to it, I'm looking forward to it even more. We should expect to see a lot of competition out there. And also, New Hampshire is a very, very flat track. It's very different from all these tracks that have banking that help those cars rotate. So it's going to be more even for the drivers. Pretty much it's going to be, what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that it's going to pretty much be left into the driver's skill to help the car rotate and brake enough and not brake too little, not brake too much in order to be able to propel next week. And by the sounds of it, it's going to be a survival race and a fuel conservation race, and also a tire strategy race. Well, I want to congratulate you, Sammy, on your 3rd place finish tonight, or 4th place finish. And before we let you go, any final words, shout out you'd like to give?
I just want to say awesome job to all the league guys, man. That was a hell of a race. Really good time. Thanks to the Dre Broadcasting Network, or DRE, as I heard it just a minute ago. Broadcasting Network. Glad you guys are on board for the season. And I want to give a huge shout out, because I always forget to do it, to my painter, Thomas Sink. He paints Lance and I our cars that we run, and he does a fantastic job. Look him up on Trading Paints, Thomas Sink. Great guy, great painter, and fantastic job he does. So I just want to give a huge shout out to him.
Well, Sammy, once again, we do want to congratulate you on your top 5 finish in tonight's race after starting in 8th position. We do look forward to seeing you again next week at New Hampshire. Have a good night and a good rest of the week, buddy.
Hey, appreciate it, guys. Thanks much.
That was the 4 of Sammy Holmes finishing in 4th place, tied for 3rd place with the 87 of Justin Michael. That's very difficult to say and hard to believe, but that is what it's showing on the scoreboard here. Well, Dave, that was a very, very fun race, very event-filled. We did see a lot of green flag pit stops, 3 green flag pit stops tonight for a 90-lap race. No backup cars. These guys did an amazing job. And that did show in tonight's race, because the first caution of the night, the first and only caution of the night, was on lap number 83, and we had a very, very crazy finish out there with the 16 of Curtis Aho coming out in 1st place, the 3 of Dale Robertson in 2nd place, 87 of Justin Michael in 3rd, 4 of Sammy Holmes being shown in 4th place, and the 24 of Corey Blevins in 5th place. And before we leave, Dave, let's go over the final results, please.
Well, Sean, you just went over the top 5, so I'll start in 6th position. The 60 of Colton Lane in the Ford Mustang will come in 6th. The Chevy Camaro 22, Jack Price in 7th. The 63 of Ryan Pendicio will finish 8th. The 27 of Danny Duchesne will finish in 9th. The 911 of John LaBeouf will round out your top 10.
And being the last car on the lead lap is the 95 of Jeffrey Ford finishing in 11th place. The 18 of Travis Browder finishing in 12th place. Had an amazing race tonight. Unfortunately, he got wrecked out in the big one. That happened before the white flag had flown, or after the white flag had flown, actually. The 11 of Brandon Massey as well had an amazing race, finishing in 13th place, a lap down. The 28 of Eric Roberts finishing in 14th place. And the 41 of Chris Perez in 15th.
The 21 of Trevor Wright will finish 16th. The 5 of Jason Ashby will finish 17th. In 18th position, the 45 of Eddie Hawks. The 66 of Charles Paradas will finish 19th. And the 6x4 of Josh Conker will round out your top 20.
The 14 of Paul D. Johnson, an amazing driver as well in the series, finishing in 21st place. The 1 of James O'Brien, who got wrecked out, or who got involved in the first and only caution, finishing in 22nd place. The 8 of Steven Aguiar, finishing in 23rd place. The 40 of Aaron R. Grosskopf, finishing in 24th place. And the 55 of Karsten Quint in 25th.
The 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne will finish 26th. The 44 of Randy Caldwell will finish 27th. The 9 of Austin Moore will finish in 28th. The 59 of David White finishing 29th. And the 78 of Ronald McManus will round out your top 30.
And going further down the list, we have the 092 of Dean Stone, tonight's sponsor, and also the sponsor of the whole entire series, finishing in 31st place. 54 of Lance Marsh, finishing in 32nd place. And last but not least, the 6 of Stephen Mattox, finishing in 33rd place. Well, Dave, tonight we had 33 drivers starting tonight's race. And unfortunately, we had a couple of drivers who had a lot of incidents going down to pit road, and that was because of different pit strategies and pretty much all the speed they were carrying and the little bit of time that they had to react in order to be able to slow down from 190 miles plus an hour down to 60 miles an hour, which is pit speed limit. But besides that, it was an amazing race. All these guys did an amazing job. We had the first caution on lap number 83, and that was the only caution. And from that, all these drivers were still able to get out there with that damage and still compete to try and gain the most points possible. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this was a Down Under 225 by the 092 of Dean Stone, and this is the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series. And back to you, Dave.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for our debut of Dre Broadcasting Network here tonight. I would like to remind you to please hit that like, hit that subscribe, as we are going to bring you some live action racing here on YouTube. Also, you can follow us on Facebook at Dre Broadcasting Network. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Dave Everly. I was joined by our lead commentator, Sean Zulu, and we want to thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you next week as we bring you Race 3 of the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series at New Hampshire. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have a wonderful night, and we will see you next time.